Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're having an early morning conversation about the fact that you don't need any of these illegal drugs in your life. You don't need to excessively drink. I'm going to tell you what I do to manage those things, and hopefully something I say might help you. I'm going to try to shut this window just because it's really kind of loud right now. Every time I try to do something, I always get interrupted. But at least minimize that. Seems like traffic is going by really quickly. But I'm just chilling in my bed right now. But I thought it'd be a good day for a talk. But basically, I come from a long history of drug abuse. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can just share my story briefly, and it's kind of got like an AA meeting vibe. But when I was younger, I started with pot. I don't really believe that pot is like a gateway drug. I never really bought that. I think it's more just people's choices to continue to use other drugs. But I did pot, and then I tried some pills. I think one day in high school I took Zoloft or something like that. Quickly escalated in my adult years. When I was like 21 years old, I went to a rave and end up doing ecstasy, end up doing Special K. I've tried cocaine before a couple times. I've actually tried crack. I spent like a week at a crack house smoking crack. One week I was like severely depressed. I excuse me. End up helping this homeless person with a ride back to his hometown, and end up at a crack house for a week. End up blowing like $700 on crack, and that 7 days of crack use, that was it for me. I was done. I was like, I am all fucking set with that shit. Um, I've had a long ride with Ritalin, Adderall. I had a pretty heavy, not necessarily addiction, but I was more of a recreational Adderall user, where if I could find Adderall, I would definitely want to take it. You know what I mean? Just because it made me feel so good, and it also like is amazing for like sexual activity too. It's like it seems like it puts sexual activity on another level. But I don't recommend you do these drugs to achieve that type of stuff, guys, because a lot of these drugs you could just more or less get by without them. I mean, I have like some ups and downs of depression. I feel really good sometimes, depressed sometimes, and some of my family's always trying to push like drugs on me, like psychotropic drugs. I'm like, I don't want any psychotropic drugs. I actually do have my medical marijuana card, so I've had that for 3 or 4 years, and so I'm like a huge fan of the medical marijuana community, just because I don't take any antipsychotic drugs or psychotropic drugs or anything to help my depression or anything like that or my mania symptoms. They say I have bipolar 1, which I agree with them. I actually think I do because I have those highs and lows. But anyway, I basically use the medical marijuana, like edibles, to manage my anxiety and manage my, like, I get less angry, I get less agitated. So I try to take like some edibles like almost every day, just because I don't have to take any other pills. I literally just take edibles with like a little THC in them, and I'm able to do that. But my point for today's conversation is, if any of you guys are battling addictions with things like cocaine, methamphetamine. Quick story on meth. I've tried meth. I actually had a girlfriend come over one time, and we went down the store. We ended up getting some tinfoil, and we were gonna smoke the meth, but I had crumpled the tinfoil too much, so me and this girl end up drinking like a gram of meth in like 2 days. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but to someone that's never done meth, that's a lot. Put me on like a 4 day. I was literally awake for like 3 to 4 days. Um, it was like probably the worst experience of my life. I was hallucinating. I actually had like meth coming out of my lips because that was my body's way of pushing the drugs out. Um, my organs were starting to shut down. I couldn't pee for like 2 days. I also couldn't get an erection. Um, like while I was on meth, I couldn't get an erection. It would just killed my erection. Um, it's kind of funny, but sexually, can you imagine what that would do to you sexually if you couldn't even get an erection, right? Um, so that was like, so the meth was like the worst experience of my life. I really, really regretted it. Um, few things I would do is like I never went to the hospital. Like I was having a really rough time. Like I'd be like, waving my arms around to get that energy out. And orange I was drinking a lot of orange juice. I've heard orange juice can help take it out of your system. You want to be drinking a lot of water and a lot of like juice and stuff because that will flush the meth out of your system. So that's what you want to do. I've done mushrooms like twice, mostly just hallucinations and stuff. I think my friend's head like shrunk on mushrooms, and only done mushrooms twice. I don't really recommend it just because it's so easy to have a bad trip on mushrooms. Um, back to the meth, my dad, he was a methamphetamine addict for 20 years. So, you know, it really basically ruined his life. It ruined his liver. He had a bad drinking problem too, and he ended up dying at the age of 57 years old. So, I was able to spend time with him at my house for one last summer in 2004, 2011 before he died in 2014. I believe I was able to spend a whole summer at my house with him in 2011. So it was like really, really nice to be able to spend time with dad and hang out. We used to actually have we used to drink beers on my lawn and smoke a joint here and there together. So I'm a big advocate of the marijuana community. And I think all the drug companies, you know, ever since the beginning have been telling everybody that pot is the devil, pot is the enemy, because they want to push those pills on you guys. They want to push those antidepressant pills on you. They want to push the antipsychotic pills on you. They want to do all that shit when in reality, let's say you have an agitation problem or an anger problem, you might be able to take edibles every day as long as you're not driving a car and see that agitation go down to nothing, or virtually nothing. It can help bring you right out of a depression. Another thing that I learned, I had to take what's called a DEEP program. It's basically when you get an OUI. I got an OUI in 2016 after my friend kicked somebody's door in out of the blue. I end up having to go up on the porch to get him out of this. He was like in a drunken blackout. Um, I was really worried he was going to hurt the people inside, and I had no clue he was going to do it. He literally got out of my car in a drunken blackout and kicked these people's door in. It was a girl that we were hanging out with all day. He got in a fight with her boyfriend at the house. But I went up and went on the porch and pulled him out, and I didn't stop right away for the police, so they got me for a high-speed chase. Um, do you see how drinking and drugging and stuff can quickly lead to major, major, major problems? So I ended up doing a week in jail. Originally was charged with 2 felonies. I was charged as an accomplice to him doing what he did until the judge found out that I was trying to stop the fight. And then they dropped my charges down to misdemeanors because I was originally charged uh, as a felony charge for him kicking in that door. But the judge was able to drop it down to misdemeanor charges once he realized that my attempts were just to stop the fight and to get him out of the house because I knew this person. He was like my stepson, and hadn't seen him for a year and a half. And he called me up. Oh, take me out for pizza for my birthday. Went and picked him up. He kind of made me a little anxious, so I had like a couple drinks. And then the girl we were with invites him back to my hometown, which was a horrible idea. That night, he ended up kicking in her boyfriend's door, and I had to stop the fight. I went to jail for a week for it, got charged with 2 felony charges because I didn't stop right away for the police, so they got me for a high speed chase. I was so upset. But it took me like 5 years to rebuild my life. I just got my license back. Um, I just got a lot of like respect back, got my job back. It took me a long, long time to prove my innocence. But drugs and alcohol can oftentimes make things worse. As far as the alcohol is concerned, I try to use the 1, 2, 3 rule, which is basically if I'm going to drink, I'm just going to have like one drink, two drinks, or three drinks. Because somebody like me, I don't want to let myself get wasted drunk. Because every time I ever got in trouble, It was when I was fucking wasted, right? So I know if I just have 2 or 3 beers, the nights I do drink, I know that I'm not going to get in trouble because I'm not going to be shit faced intoxicated. So if you do want to drink, I recommend that 1, 2, 3 rule where you just limit yourself to under 3 drinks, and that will hopefully keep you out of a lot of trouble. Keep in mind that you can still get an OUI if you've had 3 drinks. You can get an OUI on 1 drink, depending on your body weight. So you really want to just not drive at all when you're drinking. Get a cab, call a friend. It's not worth it. OUIs are hell. I've been through that. So, but as far as like the hardcore drugs and stuff, guys, it's just gonna affect your life in a negative way. Um, End up killing my father. His long-term drug use. He got hepatitis C from shooting up heroin when he was 18, and then as a later adult, a 20 plus year addiction to crystal meth. So, do you see how, like, even just a few uses could lead to hardcore addiction and ruin your life? As far as like cocaine, I think cocaine's a joke. Literally, I get the same buzz off a few cups of coffee, and think about how much cheaper that is. I mean, times I've done cocaine or crack, I didn't like it at all. And all those drugs are just going to bring you down, guys. Any of my followers, I really hope that, through this video, if you watch it, that maybe you start seeking treatment. Maybe call a counselor or check yourself into a rehab or go see a doctor and start talking about your addiction so you can get help. Um, those are some points for you guys. What else can I say? So yeah, I just recently took a state drug test, and like I said, all they found is my marijuana, my medical marijuana, because I use it for a lot of reasons. I use it for my mental health. I use it for my anxiety. I use it for my anger. I get really angry sometimes, I think because of my bipolar. Um, it helps bring me out of that. It helps keep me calm. Um, Marijuana is incredibly, incredibly good for PTSD, guys. It's like a miracle drug for PTSD. I don't think I could even do my job really because I'm around a lot of people. I don't think I could really do my job if I wasn't using the medical marijuana because it helps my PTSD so much. Um, anyway, guys, if you guys have any hope or anything that you'd like to share for addicts or people trying to get help, if you have any words of encouragement, please leave it in the comments for people. If you have some success stories of how you've gotten free from an addiction, please share that. It really can give a lot of my followers hope. And that's what I want to bring to you guys is, I decided, I'm only going to drink once in a while, and it's going to be that 1, 2, 3 rule. And I'm only going to limit my drug use to marijuana because I know that I'm not going to get in trouble if I do that. I know if I get pulled over, I'll have my med card. I'm not going to, go to jail for possession of cocaine or anything. Um, Another quick little story, guys. I've lost multiple friends from drugs. The young man that kicked in that door went on the run after we left. I ended up getting sentenced to drug court and had to do a year in drug court to prove my innocence to the judge. I was able to get both of those felony charges dropped. The young man, his name was Caleb. He actually ended up going on the run. While he was on the run down in the Baltimore, Maryland area, he actually ended up dying of a drug overdose. I believe it was fentanyl that killed him. He was a heroin user, and fentanyl has become a major issue in the U.S., and I believe it was fentanyl that killed him ultimately. I lost another friend named Levi recently. He was a really, really great guy. He was like 30, probably 30 years old. And he was strong, handsome. He was, tall. He was every woman's dream. You know what I mean? Athletic. He had the whole world ahead of him. He had everything he could have done. He could have gone places, right? But he ended up dying of a drug overdose recently. He ended up dying of a heroin overdose, and probably fentanyl that killed him too. So, guys, my hope is that you guys maybe get some encouragement from this video, that you can get help if you have an addiction. You don't need meth, you don't need coke, you don't need any of these hard drugs to be happy. You can start adopting some healthy coping skills. I like to I actually I don't smoke marijuana at all because of my lungs. I don't like to smoke anything. Um, so what I do is to manage my stress is I go for a lot of walks. I exercise. I probably literally, you guys, this summer, I'm not even joking. I probably walked hundreds of miles this summer. And that's really, really good for my heart. That's really good for my stress level, um, my blood pressure. You know, eating healthy is a huge thing, guys. I mean, you can see right in my lap, wearing my Helium 10 shirt, which I'll leave a discount in the description for you guys for Helium 10. But I'm actually eating healthy this morning. I've got my fruit bowl. Um, you know, just making those good choices, guys, is what it's about. It's about everyday choices. When you wake up in the morning, it's also tied to self love because once you start really realizing that it's not loving yourself when you're using these hard drugs, it's not loving your body because, like not to get religious on you, but the Bible says the body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. So basically, it just means that your body is supposed to be a holy thing. And so if you're taking hard drugs, you're really abusing yourself. I mean, I got to be honest with you guys. When I took the meth, I was more or less suicidal at that point. Like I just didn't care whether I lived or died. Um, so that's really what's going on is you really have to start thinking about like your mindset, like just start thinking about how can I start caring about myself more, and through that self love, you'll realize that you're abusing yourself by taking these hard drugs. You're abusing your body. But if you like this video, guys, if this has brought you hope, please like the video, please subscribe. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And please feel free to leave those words of encouragement in the comments. Thanks.